Peace, 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 y'all. This your boy Rashawn, aka Looker. This is Space Invaders TV. Yes, 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 y'all. Today is December the 10th, 2020. Peace and blessings to all y'all, man. Peace be with you and your family, um, and your households, man. Peace and blessings, man. Blessings over you all. Um, I hope everybody is, mentally in a good mental space. Um, yeah, I just pray. My peace and blessings just go out to you all for your physical and mental state, man. Um, yeah, there's a few things I want to talk about today, y'all. We got a few topics up. I'm not gonna hold y'all too long today, man. But there's a few things I want to talk about. Um, First, give me a minute, man. I gotta take my vitamins real quick, yo. You know, when you get older, man, you gotta take your vitamins. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you should take them. Period. You know, we should be taking vitamins or supplements or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But we don't do those things. But taking my vitamins, man, I take the vitamin C and zinc every day, and then I take my ginger root. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, peace and blessings, man, for real. But yeah, I've been the vitamin C, man, because I was taking the vitamin C, but then I started jumping over and adding the zinc, man, for real. I feel a difference, man. Especially with the ginger root. I take the pill. Um, I can get the ginger itself, man, but I just, I feel better. I feel, it's better for me to take the pill, the ginger root, the pills, um, because being on the go, you know what I'm saying? I could just, when I'm eat, like, because it's good to take some before you eat and after. So I ate a little something, you know what I mean? Because, I mean, it don't really matter, but, you know, I feel the difference. But, yeah, man. So peace and blessings, man. What I want to talk about today is what we got. What we got today is Minneapolis defunds their police department. And this took place several months after the George Floyd situation, him being um, murdered in front of our eyes, real time on camera. And then that talk of defunding the police started you know, being heard around the country, via the protest, and you had so many people, talking about, you know, why would you defund the police department? They had the um, wrong idea. You know what I'm saying? They were thinking like, defunding the police and kicking them out, but it was actually speaking about taking the funds. The police department gets so many millions, you know what I'm saying, of dollars, and then you figure the size of your city, you figure the more money that your state will be allocating to that police department. You know what I'm saying? And the bigger your city, then that means the more police that you will have, and the funds go to so many different things that some of those departments weren't even spending that money on. You know what I mean? They weren't even, and some of it they may have been spending it on frivolous things, whereas the city itself may be the city itself, most of the cities are struggling in so many different areas, and then they're always trying to find, they don't have, the cities don't have the funds or what have you. And so different programs, they're cutting programs, but meanwhile, they're not cutting the police department's money, the budget that they have for them. Most states may be getting police departments be the first ones to get money off top. You know what I'm saying? Because of what they do. You know. Meanwhile, the other programs in the city may get cut and be suffering. So, case in point, education. So when defunding the police department, they're talking about, hey, take those extra funds that they ain't using. We ain't talking about strip them totally down, but hey, let's go back and examine. Let's do some let's go in there and see what it is they're using, how much they actually really need, and then let's take the rest of that money, man, and let's put that to different programs. So shout out to Minneapolis. That's what they're doing. If you will, just allow me to read. I'm gonna read a little bit for y'all to give you a more understanding. And this comes from this was Yahoo. Um, the Minneapolis Police Department is getting some budget cuts. The Minneapolis City Council approved a 2021 budget plan Thursday morning, agreeing to make cuts to the police department's budget. At the same time, it said it will not be reducing the number of officers in its force, and instead it will continue to give the city flexibility to adjust staff capacity in the future. The move comes several months after George Floyd, a black man, was killed by police in Minneapolis. Following his death, protests calling for state governments to defund the police erupted across the U.S. The new council approved $1.5 billion budget will be dedicated at least five. Okay, let me go back, y'all. I'm sorry. The new council approved 1.5 billion budget will dedicate at least 400,000 to the Minneapolis Forward Community Now Coalition and 1.1 million in ongoing funding to the Minneapolis Forward Rebuild Resilient initiative to support economic recovery. Today's vote reflects our commitment to both an approach to public safety in this defining moment for our city. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey said in a statement released Thursday, "My colleagues were right to leave the targeted staffing level unchanged from 888 and continue moving forward with our shared priorities. The additional funding for a new public safety solution will also allow the city to continue upscaling important mental health, non-police response, and social service components in our emergency system." So, for all who didn't understand, like defunding the police were just taking those funds, like for so long, and I was ignorant to this too. So, you know, I learned a lot, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people learned a lot this year. Period. So I learned this year about what the defunding was. Of the police department. I thought, me at first being ignorant the first when I heard it, because I'll hear things on the go and I don't go and I don't I'll hear things on the go, and I'm on the go and I'll hear things, and then I don't check into it later. You know what I'm saying? I may check into it later, I should say. So when I heard that, I was like, "No, all right, okay, man, y'all wilding. Like, y'all wanted to fund. Like, what do you mean, kick the police out the city? Like, you need somebody to police shit. Shit gonna be wild." So that's what on the move, I was thinking that because I heard it on the go, or I heard that I'm driving. Like most of you guys know that I am, I am a truck driver. I'm a trucker. So I could be driving and I'll hear stuff. I'm always tuned into, certain things. I'll hear stuff and I might hear things and then I don't get the opportunity to actually go look it up until I actually, am in a calm, a more, stable environment where I'm not working. And then I get to tap into something that may have piqued my interest, throughout the day, throughout the week. So I was thinking when I heard defund the police department, like, defund these motherfuckers. I'm like, y'all crazy. Like, you want to kick them out? Because, at the time I want to say that was, I was hearing it, and I want to say it was when they were rioting, they were protesting. I don't want to say rioting. They were protesting, and correct me if I'm wrong, y'all. Was this It was Washington State somewhere. I'm gonna just say that. I don't know. I want to say if it was with Seattle. Was it Oregon? It was Washington State somewhere. So correct me on them cities. Or I know it was Washington. And they boarded up the police department or whatever, and so they like pushed them out. But then it was some that news circulation came out and said that the police, their lease was up in that building or something. I don't know. I don't know, but they were like, yeah, we got them out of here. We got them out of here. So I'm like, what the fuck, y'all kicking the police out? Like, so I was like, okay, we got to think about something. Like we're protesting, but you're going too far. You don't want to kick the police out. It's gonna be mayhem. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be fucking Gotham City out here. Like, we can't do this. Like, we have to stop. You know what I mean? So defunding the police department is actually talking about taking the funds that the police department, like, they were overfunded. So taking the funds and actually giving the department giving them what they need. So you keeping the staff and you keeping the funding, giving them the funding what they need, but they were overfunded. They were buying all this crazy stuff, man, and then not spending some of the money. So and also, as they talked about I guess the chief of police, I'm gonna read this right here. The new budget eliminates about 19 million from Frey's 179 million policing budget. He had a 179 million policing budget, including 8 million in direct cuts to the police department. The majority of those funds will now be redirected to the Office of Crime Prevention. The other 11 million will be put in a reserve account. And Police Chief Medora Aranda will need council approval before using that funding. So now, I guess the police chief, had, of Minneapolis, I guess he had full reign over the budget, and he can take, put money and get things that he need for the department or whatever like that. So now, I guess, he won't have that reign. Like, he'll have to go to council, and he has to tell them what he need that money for now. So, hey, man, shout out to Minneapolis. Minneapolis, they were one of the cities, man, too, that do this year that they really, and I have family out there as well, man. So shout out to my family out there, man, and I'm glad that they were all safe throughout everything this year. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, they stepped up, man, and they're showing that they're about the people, they're about fairness, and they ain't with that BS. Now I know, because like I said, I got family out there. Now I know, it's other things. You know what I mean? Like it ain't all peachy like that, but on right, this right here, that's making a big step. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a big step, and I hope that other cities around the country, all the cities around the country, especially the major cities, metro cities, adapt that right there. Defunding your police, because see, people are so much with this, police, and they can't do no wrong. That we're seeing so much wrong going on, man, and then the police department have these major budgets like that, and then you have other programs that are suffering. You know what I mean? You have homelessness that maybe they can, some of that money, maybe they could build a big a homeless shelter. You got money going to help the businesses economically. So the money that they couldn't get. Okay, now I'm gonna give you an example. Okay, so everybody, doing, you got a lot of businesses this year talking about they make next year maybe it. Some of them already closed down. They're in danger. A lot of them that are still over there in danger, they're gonna be shutting down. Some of them, this year they took a hit, man. Understandably. And so the money, the PPP money, some businesses didn't get it. Um, some cities didn't have money in their budget. That they may have gave up something, but it wasn't enough to help these businesses sustain. It wasn't even enough to help them get through a month. You know what I'm saying? If they got anything from this city, so then you figure, like the city I'm in, we got there's a lot of businesses that's in jeopardy of shutting. One's already shut down, some already shut down, but there's more businesses, brick and mortars, that are in jeopardy or shutting down. They're crying every week about it, on the news about it. Um, and rightfully so. People are out here. People don't have it. They're not gonna be moving around like that. You know what I mean? And spending that money. People got to figure out. People are making sure to figure out that they got a roof over their head for their families or themselves. They got food on their table. So it's about survival right now. And those extra curricular, those extra activities of going out dining, some people are just not doing it, and maybe they're not doing it for one. They're taking extra precaution about during this pandemic. Two, they don't have the funds. You know what I mean? They don't have the extra funds that they had before, so they're not gonna be frequenting these businesses. So, but you have if you had now the police department, how about taking the funds as Minneapolis is doing? Those funds are just not going, and they're going to be pissing them off. They're going to be using them for different community programs. The businesses there that have been impacted economically, that's going to be a great deal. You're keeping the money in the city. It's just not, you're not taking, the city's not taking the money and pissing it off. They're actually putting it somewhere that can help them, that can help balance out their budgets for other things. You know what I'm saying? So that's a good thing, man. Shout out to Minneapolis. I hope other cities, metro cities across the country follow suit with that, man, because that's a great thing. And all you that are against that, you need to really wake up and pay attention, because you could be part of you want to be so pro the police that we can't take this away from them. We got to give them this. They should have all of this. Why are we taking anything away from them? We need them. We do need the police, and we need them to be understandable. We need them to be trained better, because a lot of that's going to go to that too, helping to train them, because we got to put that in order to retrain these officers. Instead of training these officers, I don't know what the process is, but what it seems like to me, it's just like a freaking a factory. You're getting so many officers in there every month, and you just send them through this program, this fast track program or something, and bam, they're out on the street. What we have to understand is, we're putting people on the streets that need to have the mental capacity, that we're putting them on the streets with guns, weapons. They have power. Let's just keep it real. If someone's doing wrong, when they see the police, I don't give a hell how old you are. If you out here doing the crime, you see the police, you go, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're gonna be, So let's just, I don't care how old the officer is or whatever. When somebody sees the blue outfit with guns, badge, you see the police car, you doing wrong, you gonna freeze up. You know what I'm saying? So that's power right there, okay? So when you put someone on the street that has never had that effect on anybody, that power, you give them guns, you give them authority, and you put them on the street, and they have never been in a certain environment before, and you put them in this environment around aggressiveness, they know, they can feel it in the air. If someone comes from a environment where they come from a suburban area, and then they become a police officer, now they put them in a large metro, they put them in a metro city where it's all types of mayhem going on, Sodom and Gomorrah going on. They're going to be nervous as hell, and you cannot tell me they're not. If you take a person out of their comfort zone, and they come from a quiet town, a quiet city, and you put them in a major city, and they're around all this mayhem. They know what's going on. They grew up in the state. They may have grew up in a neighboring town. They heard all about the crime going on in the big city here. And you put them there. They're already nervous. They're already on one. They already like tense. They're liable to shoot somebody. As we all know, coming up in the streets, we all know the most dangerous person is a scared person. So if this person is come from this environment, you put him in a city that does that, you know what I mean? He's gonna be scared, man. You know, he's gonna be scared. And he's liable to do anything. I mean, we've been seeing it time and time again, and that's what this is. And the first thing that they yell is that they were scared. They're misjudging things. They're misjudging things because they don't know how to deal with those type of folks in this environment. They never had to. You get a 21-year-old, this guy never had you don't know nothing. You get a woman 21 years old, you put them in a major city. Come on, man. They never encountered this. They never encountered such certain behaviors and certain ways that even coming up in our environment as black people, we talk to each other a certain way. We do a lot of this. We move our hands a lot. We do a lot of that. You know what I'm saying? We're aggressive when we talk. You know, we move a certain way, you know. So you get a kid from a calm environment and you put him in this environment here. And now, you know, everything's fast for them. You know what I'm saying? It's a different level. So they run up. They come up on a group of kids that's they just might be hanging out, chilling, you know. But to them, because they never seen this in their neighborhood, in their city, to them, these kids are doing something. They're just hanging out, chilling, drinking some juice, eating some chips, dancing. They may be just chilling out, man. They may have their hoodies on. They may just be chilling out, man. But the passerbys in that city, they're used to that type of behavior. They may see that, you know. They're used to that. But you coming from a different environment, you a cop now, you thinking, oh, shit, what's going on over here? And you go over there, and now these kids like, what? Now they acting, because they like, what? Why you jumping on me for? I'm just chilling. So now we it gets escalated over something that wasn't even, you know what I mean? And I'm just making an example of something like that. I'm not saying that, you know, I'm not condoning crime and all of that. I'm just giving an example of how someone coming from one environment to another one. Training. I got off subject about the defunding. Training. That defunding is needed. So shout out to Minneapolis for that, man. That's big. I hope a lot of other metro cities adopt that right there. And that's a segue in to Ohio. A young man in Ohio gets shot down this week by the name of Casey Goodson. U.S. Marshal shoot this man down. He's just walking in his home. He's walking in his home with Subway sandwiches and gets shot in the back. He's walking in his home, gets shot in the back. Young man was just coming from a dentist appointment, from what his moms and his grandmom said. He was coming from a dentist appointment. He had sandwiches in his hand that he had for himself and his siblings and his grandmoms. He was a family guy. He was a young man. You know what I'm saying? A family guy, man. His name again was Casey Goodson, and he was just walking home, man. In Columbus, Ohio. I'm gonna read the story if you heard of it, and you might have heard it and didn't. You know, But this is what I'm talking about, and this is why you need the training. We need the training. These people, you have to understand. We giving people power. We putting guns in their hand, and you're putting them on the street. That is just as dumb. That is just as dangerous as you got guys running around with unlicensed guns. Just that's what you think is more dangerous. You giving what's more dangerous? You giving somebody a gun that never had made a gun never had a gun license until you gave them until they were able to get one with the police department. Um, you training them. However, the training is, because what it looks like to me across the country, this training is not good enough. Um, mentally, y'all not testing these people mentally on the regular, uh, testing their capacity to see how they're dealing. You know what I'm saying? I think every freaking 3 months you should be testing these people, these officers, every 3 months. To be honest with you, every month. You know what I mean? You should be testing your officers' mental capacity, seeing what's their home life like, what's going on, are you okay? You know what I'm saying? How's your family? You know what I mean? Like talking to these people, man, seeing what's going on with them, because we don't know what happens when you put these guys or these women on the street. You put them on the street. After a year, they may have seen so much stuff, depending on the city that they're in. They might have seen so much that mentally, man, it could affect them. It will affect them. Not it could, it would affect them. Because you think about the mental capacity of the people living in the city, in a big city, the things that they deal with, the way that we move in bigger cities. We don't have much hospitality. We can live next door. We can have a neighbor that lives next door to us, and we barely talk to them because we don't trust them too much. You know what I'm saying? Or they might rub us the wrong way. Like that neighbor might have did something that you like, you know what, I'm gonna stay away from her. She seen me about to take that parking spot yesterday and she just gonna move right up in it. I ain't fucking with her. Stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, so it's different things that make us in these big come from that those of us that come from big cities. It's certain things, and people don't understand that why if you come to a big city up north or something like that, like we don't have. If you come from the south, you wonder, or you say, oh, everybody from the north don't have. Yeah, you right. Some of us don't, because our environment is different. So I say that to say this, like, we have to train these people that you put in, you giving them power. What's more dangerous? You giving somebody power and they got a force behind them. You giving them guns. You put them on the street and you tell them go fight crime. So they're like, oh yeah, I got authority to do this and I got these people to back me. So then they get out there and they telling you, when they do it, they're telling you. Some of them are taking advantage of that, but they're actually telling you, read between them, pull the sheet back. They're telling you, and they're telling you clearly, no matter what the situation, pull the sheet back. Every time you hear when they do this thing, what I hear is, I was scared. They were scared. They're shooting and they're scared because they're shooting, and then the questions are being asked later. But you're shooting innocent people, man. You know what I'm saying? Because so, what do we used to tell? Like, what do your moms or your pops or whatever used to tell you, or your grandmas, whatever, used to tell you when you was coming up, and you be acting all, if you was scared about something, they're like, hey, what's wrong with you, boy? You scared of your own shadow, huh? You can you? Why you so fidgety? Why you so jumpy? What's going on with you? It's all right. Just have a seat. You know what I'm saying? This is what's going on. You got these people in these environments, and they just fidgety. Any little thing, they shoot their own damn shadow. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like that. That's dangerous, man. That is dangerous for real. And so what you have here, I'm gonna read this for y'all real quick. Authorities in Ohio identified a longtime Franklin County Sheriff deputy as the law enforcement officer who shot and killed a black man in Columbus last Friday. Law enforcement says the man was waving a gun. His family said he was carrying a sandwich. The sheriff's office said the deputy who fired shots, Jason Mead, is the U.S. Marshal who shot. Jason Mead is a 17-year veteran of the force, was assigned full-time to a U.S. Marshals Service Fugitive Task Force at the time of the incident. The task force had wrapped up an unsuccessful search for violent suspects According to police investigators, when the shooting took place, the man killed was 23-year-old Casey Goodson. Was not an object of the search, nor was he wanted by law enforcement prior to the incident, according to police. It's more, but I'm gonna stop right there. So this is what I'm saying. He shot this man. He run up on this young kid, 23 years old. He's walking in the house. You shot this man for no reason. What did you shoot? He wasn't even looking for him. You didn't even tell him the fees. Then you're gonna lie. Like if you go on to read the story, but I'm bringing it up. Jason Meade lies and says that Casey was waving a gun, riding down the street waving a gun. Casey's family says he was a good guy. He didn't do anything wrong. He abided the law. He had plans to open his own business. He was saving up for that. He worked every day. He was a family guy. He loved nature. He wouldn't hurt a fly. His mom said this. Like he wouldn't hurt a fly. Like he's a family guy. Like he ain't even on that type of time. Like and if he was told to freeze, he would. If Casey was asked to stop, he would have stopped. Like he had and Casey did have a gun permit. He had a gun license, I should say. But he didn't, you know what I mean? He obviously, I don't think he had a gun on him then. He just had a sandwich in his hand, and his mom said he had a mask in his hand walking in the house. The cop shot him in the back. Casey fell in his house because he was putting the key in the door. He had the sandwich in his hand, his mask in his hand. He had the key. He was turning the key to the door, and his grandmom said all she heard was shots fired. And his two younger siblings or something was there in the house too. He just fell into the house. They shot the officer shot him in the back. There was no other officer around. He didn't have any no camera. Nobody was around. You just shot this kid in the back, and then you're gonna lie and say he was riding down the street waving a gun. No, you probably were tired, Jason Meade, of riding around all day. They had you beating that pavement, Jason. That's what it was. You got tired, and you know what? You looked around and you said, hell, ain't nobody out here. I seen the street view. It looked like a quiet street to me. What I seen, you know what I'm saying? Nobody probably was around. He said, oh, let me just take my frustration out. Boom, boom, boom. Shot this kid in the back. No damn reason at all. Casey Goodson didn't do nothing. You cannot. I don't care what you try to defend, Jason. You cannot. Jason Meade, you shot that kid in the back, Casey Goodson. You shot him in the back. You cannot. I don't understand how you think you're gonna. You shot the man in the back. He wasn't a threat. He had sandwiches in his hand, man. He was going in the house, man. So if he was riding down the street waving a gun, Jason, in his car, if he was riding down the street waving the damn gun flag in the air, right? Why didn't you pull him over when you seen him waving a gun in the damn air? How did he go from his car to the house with the key in the door, shoot him in the back? Boom, boom, boom. And then say, oh, he was waving a gun, but he got out the car and went in the house. So you were watching him. This is premeditated. You watched him. You probably followed him. You probably followed him the whole time and never did nothing. He wasn't doing anything. You preyed on that young man for whatever reason. He might have almost looked like someone that y'all was searching for. He might have almost looked like somebody. But you know he wasn't. You shot him. That excuse I read was full of shit, Jason Meade. You shot that young man, Casey Goodson, a good citizen, a family guy. He had plans to own his own business. He was saving up for it. He went to work every day. He was a taxpayer. He ain't caused no threat to you. You're a piece of shit. And you know what? I don't know, a judge. I want to, any judge, you got children. The judge that sits on this case right here and let that pass right there. As it's been a lot of disheartening things that these police been doing over these years, man, and over the years, period, disheartening. But over the last 20 years, the disheartening things that's been going on and these police been getting off. This got to stop, man. The country done raised their voice on it, man. Nobody is turning the cheek on this no more, man. You can't give those sob-ass excuses for somebody's life, man. That you took that young man's life for no reason, Jason Meade. You got 17 years on the force. What was your problem that day? What was your problem that day? See, this is why you have to defund the police, to take away the funding, to take some of the funding away, to put at different programs that aren't being, we have to target programs. We have to give these officers mental evaluations, monthly mental evaluations. We have to have a database that so these cops are moving through jurisdictions, transferring, going to other states and cities and everything. It has to be a database that you go tap into this database and make sure that this officer doesn't have any other citations on them. Look at their jacket as well. We have to take some accountability here. These people are policing. They have power. They have guns. They have a team behind them. It's a force, police force. You have a force behind these people. You're putting guns in the people's hands that have never touched a gun in their life, some of them. You're putting guns in people's hands who never even had a responsibility of even raising a freaking child. And you're putting guns and you're giving them authority. Something that they never had. They're getting their parents might not even put that much authority on them. And you giving these kids, some of these people are young kids. They come into the force. You giving them this type of authority, and they're taking innocent people lives for no freaking reason, man. Innocent people, man. We have a serious problem. And this is part of why people were yelling during the protest of defunding the police department. Take away the money. Put that money in different places around the community. Put that money to also help them. We wanted to fund the police department to help you officers out. Even because all officers are not bad. We're not saying all you bad, but it makes you good officers look bad when you got these guys. I would be ashamed to come out the house every day being an officer and knowing that I come from a department that that have had police gunning down innocent people. I would be ashamed. How can I be prideful of something that my force doesn't even take pride? They don't have any pride. They thinking that they're doing a good thing. And you getting these wild hotheads. You giving some of these people are freaking hotheads. You putting guns in their freaking hands. You got to understand that some of these people have race issues. You putting guns in their freaking hands. We have to do evaluations on these people, man. And I don't know, whatever the evaluation you're doing is something simple. You're doing simple, basic evaluations because these people are breaking through that. They're able to get through that. It's something, whatever the evaluations you're giving is something simple. There's nothing, it ain't nothing too challenging. We need to really sit down. And then another thing is definitely if you are giving counsel to these officers monthly, and then they go out and they're found guilty of killing someone unjustly, they're found guilty, they really need to be charged to the highest degree because they were to police the people, not be a threat to the people. You're hired to fight crime. Okay? You're hired to fight crime. So if the criminal can be charged to the highest degree, then you as an officer should be held at higher standard than that because you are hired to fight the crime. You're not hired to fight to fight non-criminal activity. You're hired to fight crime. That's your job. So if you fail to do that job and you adding to the crime, rate, then you go to jail for the highest. And let's not talk about insurance wise. Like, you cause the apartments, you cause the insurance to be higher when you do things of that nature, man. Y'all know, the police departments, y'all know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Man, let me tell you something. That young man, Casey Goodson, man, had a future. His mom said he was a good kid. His mom said he was a good kid. He now have no criminal record, because the first thing they like to do is go pull a criminal record on somebody that was gunned down by an officer for no reason. Like, you want to go pull a criminal record? But y'all, they be first. The media be first to pull a criminal record on an innocent person that was shot down or handled unjustly. They quit to go pull a background check on the wrong person. Pull the background check on the officer. Why we don't hear the background check on the officer first? That's the one who shot. That's the one who called the crime. They upped the crime rate. Let's talk about that there. So what we just gonna say, okay, the crime rate only gonna rise just from the criminal, just from the person who's not an officer? No, that officer, you help raise the crime rate too. Let's get that right too. Because if you shot somebody unjustly, yeah, you help raise the crime rate too, motherfucker. Like, well, you ain't exempt from that. If you were found guilty for taking the life of an innocent person, you help raise the crime rate, man. Plain and simple. So, man, peace and blessings to the family, to the Goodson family down in Ohio, man, in Columbus, man. I hope y'all get, I hope justice prevails. I hope that, that officer Jason Meade, that I hope they throw the book at you. Yeah, man, because that's just crazy. And you're gonna lie. That young man, 23 years old, was just going to his house. If he was waving a gun because you gave a statement saying that he was waving a gun, he was riding down the street waving a gun. If he was waving a gun, why didn't you pull him over when you seen him waving a gun? How did he get into the house? How did he just go into his house? His sister said he had a sandwich. He was walking through the gate. She seen him. His sister seen him coming through the gate with the key. You just shot him in the back. He wasn't doing anything. His sister seen it. His grandma seen him fall in the floor. It was two younger siblings or cousins or something like that. They were there. Let me get that right. Before, because y'all know, like, when I say stuff, I don't Okay, here we go. The sister said, Callie Harper, she posted this on Facebook. This is Casey Goodson's sister. They are lying, Kelly Harper, who identified herself as Goodson's sister, wrote in a Facebook post. My brother literally walked across the yard, walked into the back fence to get to the side door, had his Subway sandwich and mask in one hand, keys in the other, unlocked and opened the door and stepped in the house before he was shot, Harper wrote in a statement. That's what it was. Casey was 23 years old. He never had any type of crime. He was good. He worked at the Gap. He loved his family, Johnson told the paper. He just enjoyed being a big brother and enjoyed being with his family. He loved them very much. The shooting, I'm going to stop right there, man. That's just crazy, man. That's all I'm going to say. And these cops, what's more crazy, what makes it more criminal, when these cops, and I'm gonna end it right here, y'all. You know what makes it more criminal and than anything? When these cops, the excuse that they give when they do what they do, man. Just go back and look at all the cases, you know what I'm saying? We could just go back and look at the cases the last 5 years, The excuses that they give, man, they have no heart for the life. They have no heart when they do what they do. The book needs to be thrown at these cats. You know what I mean? Because they're just doing it. Like this guy just shot that Jason Meade shot Casey Goodson down like a freaking animal. You hunted him. You sat back, you watched him. He went to his house, he put the key in the door, you watched him walk. So if he was in the car, because it wasn't clear from his family was he driving or not. It wasn't clear. But so you saying he was driving, no one else said he was driving. Okay, so if he was driving, he got out the car. You did not tell him to freeze then? Come on now. We all know you're gonna do that. So you're gonna wait till he get to his door. Oh, so what's the excuse? You didn't get a quite good idea on him? When you shot him, Jason Meade, did you call for backup before you did that? Since y'all were looking, it said y'all were rounding up, people that were wanted. It was unsuccessful. So I guess y'all never found the people that y'all were looking for. And Casey Goodson definitely he wasn't one of the people on y'all list y'all were looking for. So one, why the hell did you shoot him for that too? Because he wasn't even on y'all list. He don't have a warrant. He don't have nothing. All they said is he had one minor traffic ticket. He was a good kid. He had a clean record. Like he didn't do anything. So like, what? You know what I mean? So, did you call any backup? Obviously not, because nobody was around when you did it. They said nobody was around. Multiple sources. So everybody, you can read that story. Ohio man in Columbus, Ohio, a young man named Casey Goodson, 23 years old, was shot in the back as he was entering his home, putting the key in. Murdered. He was murdered. I'm not even going to say shot down. He was murdered. It's crazy, man. Crazy, man. And then these jokers sit up here and the excuse he gave, talking about he was waving a gun riding down the street. Now, we all freaking know if he was waving a freaking gun riding down the street and you were on a task force that were out looking for wanted criminals and things of that nature, you're a freaking officer. A fucking cop. I'm going to call you a cop because there's a difference. Officers handle themselves differently. Cop is a fucking bandit. That we all got the difference now anyway. An officer is going to handle themselves. A police officer is going to handle themselves with respect and dignity. They hold that badge high. They ain't going to be out here, first of all, they're going to approach you respectfully. You know what I mean? You're innocent until proven guilty, so they're going to approach you respectfully. You know what I mean? That's what an officer would do. Approach you respectfully. You know what I mean? And they're going to approach you respectfully. See what things going. And if things ain't looking right, then hey, listen here, sir. Put your hands behind your back. We found reasons to believe this, that, and the third. We got this, that, and third on you. This, that. Nah, put a cop. Nah, fucking bandit. He run up on you. Hey, motherfucker. Disrespecting you. Don't even know nothing. He just assuming. He or she just assuming. Just run up on you disrespectfully, and then wonder why you as a grown man responding to this man in a certain manner. Like, whoa, wait a minute, motherfucker. Why you up on me like that? Now it's escalating, and he expects you or she respect you to give them respect. But you just ran up on this grown person disrespectfully for no reason. First of all, sometimes the person don't really know what the hell is going on, and you feel the need not to say anything. All you want to do is wrangle them up and be disrespectful and using bodily force and everything. You know what I'm saying? And another thing, why the hell does it take 15 fucking officers to apprehend one fucking person? You apprehended one person. You got thousands of pounds. You got thousands of pounds on one person. Person only got 2 hands, 2 feet. Why y'all be needing like 10 people on one person? Explain that to me. And you tell them, put your hands down, close your mouth, turn your head this way. But you asking the person to do all of that. Meanwhile, you you got your hand on their head. They can't move the way you tell them to move. You got somebody on their back, somebody holding their legs, somebody's got their arms and a bunch of weight just on them for no damn reason. They can't do nothing, and you wonder why they not responding right. Craziness, man. Why are we doing this? Where's the training? You know what I mean? What we need is to start having these trainers on TV. Who's training these damn officers? We need these trainers on the camera. We need to get the trainers. All these departments put their ass on the camera. How is your training? How do you train people? We need to know this. The public need to know how y'all train people. That's what we need to know. We need to have a segment. They had cops. They had a show called fucking Cops, and the cops showed you how they running down, and they also showed you illegally how they was doing drug busts. They will set up the damn stings. They will set up that. I felt, you setting people up. You setting up hookers and shit, and then you go lock a motherfucker up. Like, you set that up. That wasn't even real. And you locking people up for, like, you set that up. That wasn't even a real hooker. She was an officer. Huh? She was a fucking undercover. She was a fucking undercover. She ain't even sell no pussy. He ain't get nothing. And you locking him up. We gotta sit back and think about what they showed us on those cameras, man. You know what I mean? When you watch them shows and you think what they were showing you on the camera, man, the illegal shit that they were doing on the camera, the way they were handling people on camera. So we need a show that shows us how y'all training them, how y'all train these officers. Where that show at? Where that show at? See, I could do it, but I'm not. I could try to put something together like that, but I ain't with that shit. I want to see a show that show us across the country the same way y'all showed us cops all across the country. Show us how these these officers are being trained. How you training officers? Because they officers until they get out here in the street. Then you see their real character. Okay, then that's when we become fucking bandit cops and shit. All right, some of them, not all of y'all. So what I'm saying is, we need a show like that, y'all. We need a show where you show us how you handle, how y'all train the officers, how y'all get them right in the academy. Let's see that training. What is being said to them? What is the protocols? We need a show on that. So maybe if we see that show, then more the public now, that's teaching the public too, a way to really deal with police in different situations to handle. Because we're not trained to handle you guys. Supposedly you are. We're not trained, but supposedly you are. So maybe that show can help us all out. You know what I mean? Maybe you should have a public access channel in each city and state around the country to show, hey, when you're being apprehended, this is how you handle police. It shouldn't be something that we gotta go do a fucking ride along with the police and see how. No, 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 no. We need to see how you are trained. We need to know how we should be able to handle y'all when y'all approach. What's the proper protocol? Not the way the officer wants you to appease to his, macho. No, well, what's the proper way we supposed to uh what respond to y'all? Put that out there for the world to see. Yo, but I'm your boy Rashawn, aka Looker. This is Space Invaders TV, and today what we just talked about was Minneapolis defunding their police department, taking millions away and putting it in different community groups, and that's an awesome thing. So yeah, they took millions of dollars and they're putting it towards the community, and also the police helping with different programs for the police department. And when I say taking the money for the community, is doing community for different community groups to help residents, also help with the economic impact, from the businesses and things of that nature since the COVID. Then we talked about Casey Goodson, 23-year-old out of Columbus, Ohio, that was murdered by U.S. Marshal Jason Meade. He was a 17-year veteran. He shot Casey in the back as he was entering his home. Shot him in the back. Casey wasn't wanted. He wasn't a suspect for anything. Jason Meade shot him in the back. Let's be mindful that Jason Meade was tasked to a force. He was on the force. They were out looking for fugitives, and supposedly it was unsuccessful. They did. I guess they didn't find all who they were looking for. Somehow, he came across Casey. He says that Casey, his story, that Jason Meade, the 17-year veteran U.S. Marshal, says that Casey was riding down the street, flailing, waving a gun in the air. As we all know, I'm trying to figure out if you were assigned to a fugitive task force and all of that nature of things, and you seen this activity. He was a threat he's a threat to the public. If he's doing that, right? He's actually a threat. If he's really doing that, he's a threat, because you don't know what he's going to do. You know what I mean? So he's actually a threat. Why didn't you pull him over when you seen that? How did he get out of his car, walk to his house? His sister said he walked through the fence. She seen him. He walked through the fence. He walked through the driveway. He walked through the alleyway on the side of their home and went into the side of the house. He had sandwiches in his hand, Subway sandwiches in a mass. We all know what a Subway sandwich look like in a bag. You can see it's his Subway. You know those colors. You know. You're a cop. You ate Subway. Well, you ain't eat it. Your partners ate it. You know what a Subway sandwich look like. You can't say that was a gun. But what you said was he was riding, flailing a gun in the air. He has a license to carry, but no one said it was a gun on him. But y'all just read that story, look that story up, man. It just happened earlier this week. Casey Goodson, 23-year-old, murdered, shot in the back, Columbus, Ohio. But yo, that's it for me today, man. Peace and blessings be with you all. Man, y'all stay safe out there, man. I send blessings over your whole, your entire family and your home, man, in these times. And y'all just keep the faith, man. Keep the faith. Keep your head to the sky, man. And make sure y'all keep getting on, man. This was a tough year. But don't let this derail whatever the plans you had for yourself. Don't let this kill your dreams. Keep your head to the sky. Stay prayed up. This is Space Invaders TV. I'm your boy Rashawn, a.k.a. Look of Peace and Blessings.